Guess who's back? Back again. Guess who's back? 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 Guess who's back?
All right, everybody. So I'm outside today and there's some stuff going on inside, repairs and whatever. And I did not want to miss an opportunity to talk about the really inspiring things that are happening this week in the Johnny Depp situation, and then also in the Marilyn Manson situation. You know, he got a tough ruling last week in the LA courts, a preliminary hearing. It didn't go his way. You can take a look at the previous videos I've done to get an idea of that. But his lawsuit against Evan Rachel Wood and Ilma Gore is still ongoing. But, you know, Marilyn Manson, he had some disappointment last week, but he has come out metaphorically swinging today, I think. It's apparently his wedding anniversary, and both he and his wife, Lindsay, are posting on Instagram really for the first time in a long time. I mean, for Manson, actually, he has not posted anything in the last 2 years since his quote unquote cancellation began. He's not posted anything on his Instagram or his Twitter except for his lawsuit, basically, since all that happened. And so for him to come out and be posting personal pictures and paying tribute to his wife on Instagram, and then she's doing the same, that's a really big deal. And I think that, you know, again, my own personal interpretation, I put that up somewhat aggressively and sarcastically, obviously, but I put up my own personal interpretation on Instagram and Twitter of Marilyn Manson's post, and of course my own personal interpretation. But I do think that it was meant to signify several things. That A, Marilyn Manson, he's innocent. B, he's coming back, whether Evan Rachel Wood and the mainstream media and, the hoax protecting LA court system, I'm saying that, Manson's not. Whether they like it or not, or they approve of it or not, or they sanction it or not, he's coming back. He's innocent. He's coming back. It's been 2 years. He's not going to wait around any longer for the proper authorities to step in and do what, for God's sake, you would think someone would be doing with all of these crimes all over the place that Evan Rachel Wood and Ilma Gore committed, ginning up a fake hoax, false statements to the authorities, fake FBI letter entered in as court evidence in a heated custody case. I mean, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, hacking, all of it. You would think with all that shadiness and all that criminal activity just sort of percolating all over the place, you would think that someone would be interested in going after it, the LASD or the FBI or, I don't know, a prosecutor or something, but no one is. At least that we know of. And so Manson's going to live his life like the innocent man that he is, and people can get on board with it or they won't. But the thing is that a number of us are going to keep telling the truth on this thing. We're going to keep getting the word out. And it doesn't really matter to me. Well, let me put it this way. Despite my profound disappointment at the way things have shaped up in the LA court system, and my profound disappointment in the authorities, any authorities anywhere, to go after these crimes, I do think ultimately, and I've always said this is mostly a PR quagmire that Manson is in. And so to get out of that, he's going to have to just start living his life. He doesn't need some kind of PR campaign. He just needs to say, screw it. I've given it 2 years. I've been quiet for 2 years. And I'm done. Like my life is going, you know. They like to call, his enemies like to call him an old man. Well, okay, like the old man, then he needs to get going with the rest of his life. He can't wait around anymore for you to get off his lawn, basically. So good for him. And speaking of people not waiting around for other people to get off their lawn, that won't make any sense if people don't know Gran Torino, but I'm assuming people do, right? Speaking of someone else who doesn't have any more time to wait for the mainstream media and, you know, all these other losers to get off his lawn, Johnny Depp, yes, he is headlining the Cannes Film Festival. That's right. His big comeback movie in French, no less. I mean, my God, they like to say that he's like washed up and can't act. Well, you know, I like to see Brad Pitt do a French movie. But anyway, that's no slight against Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt's also never been married to or in a long-term relationship with a French woman for a decade, right? You need to pick up some French. There's something wrong with you in that situation, I would think. But kudos to him. And it's like a huge artsy movie that's also, because Depp is in it, it's going to have massive commercial appeal. You know, May Win, however you say her name, the director of this thing, the creative mind behind this, and frankly, the balls that have kept it going, as I understand it. Congrats to her for having the genius insight to know that if she did the courageous thing back before the trial, back before Amber Heard was exposed, back when a lot of people and conventional thinking was that Depp was a fucking wife beater, this Mai Wen French lady, this star, she decided to take a bet, and to take a bet on doing the right thing and the courageous thing. And you know what? It is going to pay off tremendously. It already is. She's headlining Cannes Film Festival. And it's going to pay off tremendously. And wow, what an absolute sort of strategic stroke of brilliance. Kudos to her. You know, there's that famous saying, talent is striking at a target others can't hit, but genius is striking a target others can't see. And kudos to someone like Mai Wen, who could look down the road and have some insight that everybody else was too dumb or timid or whatever to bet on. So that's amazing. And what a huge comeback. There's going to be, you know, we have the usual rounds of scolding sour Sallies, like Dr. Charlotte, not proud of men. And of course, she comes on and she and all of her, you know, the usual feminist harpies, frankly, they're coming out with their posters and their hashtags, Con not okay, right? Like, we're not okay with you, Cannes Film Festival, having Johnny Depp. And it's got this really like dark, shady, you know, picture of Johnny Depp scowling. They're going to have a wife beater at Cannes, headlining Cannes. What does society come to? I mean, the thing is, everybody, is that there are so many issues in life. I would say that in life, 95% of issues are just so complicated. And really, you know, we could think about different hot topics. You know, we can talk about all of these different political debates, and people have facts over here and facts over here. And basically, like, the more you look into it, the more it just feels like you're stuck in some kind of theoretical quagmire. That is not what the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation was. I just categorically, flatly refuse to admit that there is a legitimate second interpretation to that whole thing where Depp was the bad guy. I just categorically, I'm not saying that Johnny Depp is a perfect person, right? And we shouldn't even have to say that. And everybody knows, you know, with a follow-up to that, right? But this was not some mutually toxic thing or mutually abusive thing, okay? There was a clear problem. There was a clear, problematic, dangerous element in this relationship, and her name was AH, okay? And everybody knows it. So for them to act like Cannes Film Festival can't invite this guy because everybody knows that, you know, he's an abuser, he's a wife. No, that's not true. Because the rest of us, and basically the entire world by now, we have heard those recordings. And I just categorically flatly deny that it is possible for an intelligent person with an open mind to the truth to hear those recordings where AH is berating Johnny Depp time and time again for running away. And she's admitting to, you know, hurting him. And all of these, and you can just listen to the audio, and you can just like hear the toxicity just like flowing out of her, and you can just see the way it's getting its hooks into Depp. It's like clear, like manipulation. Like you could see the Matrix. I'm serious. When I heard those audio tapes, right? When I heard that audio, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, I could see the Matrix then. And I was like, oh, I know what this is. And everyone of intelligence with an open mind to the truth, I think, had that same reaction. So you give me this woman with a PhD, supposedly, and I guess she does have one. I don't think it's false advertising. And she's this great barrister, and she has this like storied legal career, and she's won these awards, Dr. Charlotte Proudman. And you tell me that she thinks that Depp is the problem in that relationship, and that then I'm going to say to you one of two things. I'm going to say either she's just not listened to those audios, she's just refused to, because it's possible some people just will refuse to listen to it, or more likely she's listened to it and her mind is just so close to the truth that she just is in denial. But it is a kind of willful denial, conscious or unconscious. It's a kind of willful denial. And it's really astounding, the completely different universe that some people are living in, to think that Depp is the problem. But you know what? It doesn't matter. And this is the point of this video. This is what I'm trying to say to you, okay? Is that these two guys, it's time for them, Johnny Depp and Marilyn Manson, Brian Warner, it is time for them to start living their fucking lives again, and to say, you know what? Society, some in society, in fact, Johnny Depp has won over most people. And I think Marilyn Manson is well on the way to doing that, because the more people look into this Me Too stuff, and the more people look into these media constructive narratives, and the more they look into Evan Rachel Wood, frankly, then the more positive they're going to become of Marilyn Manson, and the more negative they're going to become toward Evan Rachel Wood. And so here's what I'm saying. These two guys, it's time for them, and I think they're doing it now, and kudos to them. It's time for them to say, you know what? Get on board, don't get on board, or whatever, but the train is going now. The train is leaving the station. We're going to start making art again. We're going to start living our lives again. We're not going to just wait around like looking at a fucking hourglass and wait for you all, the media and these false accusers and all of these leeches, just sucking the blood out of us. We're not going to do it anymore. No, thank you. We're gonna get back into the game of life. And by the way, we're going to start winning again in a way that would make Charlie Sheen smile. All right. So kudos to them. I think that that what's happening this week with Cannes Film Festival, and the acclaim that Johnny Depp is receiving, and that he's going to receive, and he's going to have a beautiful red carpet moments tomorrow, I'm sure, and bask in critical acclaim and all of that. And then Marilyn Manson coming out on his anniversary with a tribute to his wife. And you know what he says? He says, I have something for you to hear. He has music for us. He has art. And I'm sure he has more. And, one of the anti-Manson accounts, when this disappointing ruling came through, one of the anti-Manson accounts posted, Manson he'll never write another song. He'll never put out another album. He'll never do another TV series. Like, his life is over. To which I would say, you wish, but let's see what Marilyn Manson has to say about that. And let's see what society has to say about that, because thankfully society does not have to abide by the dictates of a tiny, outraged, delusional minority on the internet. And thank God for that. Kudos to Johnny Depp. Kudos to Marilyn Manson. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Check out my stuff. All my links are below. Appreciate your support. And today is a good day. This week is going to be a good week. And I said this in my last video or whatever. I said that I think both of these cases, both of these situations, Johnny Depp, Marilyn Manson, we've bottomed out and we are in an upward swing. And how long that's going to take or whatever. But thank God, they've got what they have behind them, right, is the worst part. Thank God for that. And that is the truth, I believe. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.